Hi everybody, this is Digvijay Golub, and this is my final presentation for CS6460 Spring 2019. I'm doing research track, and the topic of my research is use of smart speakers as an aid to physically handicapped people. For the purpose of this research, I narrowed down the arena of physically handicapped people to people who are either wheelchair bound or who are bedridden or not able to move in one or the other way. This was just because physically handicapped people encompasses a lot of different kind of um, people, and I had to narrow it down to do my research and surveys. So just to give you some overview or some background of research, this is one of the surveys that was conducted by NPR on the online portal. This is just to show how many people actually use um, smart speakers. So for this research, they did not really focus on physically handicapped. It was just general people, general audience. So you can see that 1600 people are interviewed, and around 50% of the people do own smart speakers, which is a pretty decent number. So there has been a lot more research on it. So, and if you can see, Amazon Alexa is one of the most widely used, then Google Home, and there are a lot of other smart speakers. So nowadays a lot of other smartphone integrated speakers are being used, like Siri, Google Voice and stuff. So this is just a normal statistics about how many people actually own how many speakers. So usually it's one, as you can see, and some people have two. So this is another interesting thing. The place where you actually place your smart speakers, this influences the way you will use it or the purpose that you're gonna use it for. So if it's in a kitchen or stuff, you might use it to get some recipes. If it's in bedroom, you might use it as your alarm clock or stuff, and if it's in office, you might use it for more formal purposes. But most of the people prefer it in living spaces. And the another interesting thing, and that most people can relate it to, is the use of smart speakers in what way actually. And most people use it for listening music, and others are for to get answers to common questions. It might be maybe anything from news to simple math questions and stuff. Coming back to my research, for the purpose of this study, I conducted on-site interviews at Hospice East Bay, located in Pleasanton, California. This is a very old facility, been there for around 40 years in Pleasanton, California, which has around 120 people. So I used a smart speaker called Amazon Alexa, and I did two set of interviews. Interview 1 had 6 people, and interview 2 had 20 people. And the interviews were chosen depending upon their physical handicap situation. So as you can see, in interview 1, I had 6 people. 3 of them were wheelchair bound, 1 had crutches, and 2 of them were bedridden. So as I stated earlier, all these people had some issues moving, so smart speaker would help them in one or the other way. For the first interview, only 2 of the 6 people had actually used smart speakers, so 4 of them had no idea about using it. I mean, everyone knew actually what a smart speaker is. It was just that they had never actually used it in practice. So after the first interview, I placed one Amazon Alexa in one of the breakfast areas in the hospice care facility in Pleasant Hill, and it was there for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I conducted my second interview. So when I placed this Amazon Alexa in one of the in breakfast rooms, there was a notebook placed alongside, which was used to get feedback from anyone who uses it, and I got around 22 feedbacks, and 18 people were actually ready to or 20 people were actually ready to do on-site interviews, and I actually interviewed 18 people. It took over a week for me to conduct my second set of interviews, but for the first set of interviews it was done in just 2 days. So as opposed to interview 1, interview 2 had 18 people, as you can see, and it will be a lot of material to list down every one of them. So I just kind of grouped them into what kind of disability they suffer from. So 6 of them were wheelchair bound, 3 had crutches to walk, 2 were bedridden, 4 had minor disability, and 3 were visually disabled. So as you can see, in each of these 5 cases, a smart speaker would be helpful, and it was helpful for them in one or the other way. So coming to the results from survey 1 and survey 2. So this is just from the survey 1. You can see that so these are just the normal questions asked to each participant, in the way how they use the smart speaker, have they what was their feeling, what can be improved, what issues they had. So these are the following questions from interview set 2. Did they have any privacy concerns and stuff, but overall I felt that they had very good acceptability for smart speakers, even though for people who had never used them, they really liked it, and they want to explore the arena of using smart speakers more. Coming to conclusions, from the hospice care facility interviews, I can say that all the interviews from 6 interviews from the first interview and 18, like 90% of them were able to get answers from the smart speakers, and 80% were able to or ready to use them in future. The major suggestion that I got from every one of them was not able to find the actual answers in some cases, like very specific answers, and Amazon Alexa gave them a broader range of answers. The another thing they expected was, as you can see in like in movies and stuff, it's a little more widely shown, and we don't have that much autonomy currently, so people expect Amazon Alexa to be integrated with their house devices like TV, lights and stuff, but it's pretty expensive, so it will need more research and to cut down the cost in order for everyone to be able to access those facilities. So, and that falls under the future work that is being needed. And the last concern was privacy. Everyone felt that their data can be used in some or the other way by these companies, since Amazon Alexa is continuously listening to whatever is going around, so it should not be used against them in the way, or the data is being illegally used by anybody else. So overall, I can conclude that smart speakers were really helpful for people, at least in this hospice care facility, and most of them do want to buy or pursue using smart speaker in their future. Thanks for listening.